Hi, I'm Dennis Miller. Welcome to Inside the Ring. To open our show, we go to New York City and the Grand Hyatt Hotel. Our special guest is world-renowned top judge and HBO analyst, Harold Lederman. Let's go to that interview. Dennis Miller for Inside the Ring. My guest on this segment of Inside the Ring, top boxing judge, HBO analyst, Harold Lederman, one of the most respected men in boxing today. Harold, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dennis. After an introduction like that, boy, oh boy, I tell you, I feel like I'm on top of the world.
HBO and Harold Lederman, how did you hook up that marriage?
Well, Dennis, I tell you, I was lucky. I was judging professional boxing, and about 4 years ago or so, we decided that possibly adding a boxing judge to a broadcast might give the public a little different insight as to how the fight was going or what was going on. We felt that the commentators really weren't trained as judges. They weren't that good at scoring fights, and possibly if a judge sat with a commentator, we might be able to give the fans some idea of what the judges were thinking about during the fight, and also who was winning and who was losing in the eyes of a judge as opposed to the eyes of a commentator.
You've been in many, many lands, and which is some of the best places? You've been in some of the worst.
I'll tell you, it's always a good place to go when their guy wins. But, hey, when a hometown guy loses, sometimes you got to run out of town.
How about some of them hot places? What's the hottest place you've ever been in?
Cartagena, Colombia. I mean, you don't know what hot is until you go to Colombia in the summer. I mean, that's hot.
Harold, give us a breakdown on the scoring of fight, round by round, minute by minute.
Okay, well, I've always said that, we judge a fight based on the 4 points in which we score: clean punching, effective aggressiveness, ring generalship, and defense, and, 25% for each. But as I've said many, many times, the truth of the matter is that you score a fight 90% for clean, effective punching and 10% for the other three. Your effective aggressiveness, the ring generalship, and the defense. Really, it's clean punching. It's who's doing the more damage. That's how you score a fight. The guy that's doing the most damage is going to win a round every time.
How about the big boys? Let's talk about the heavyweight division today as compared to, let's say, the 70s or 60s. Certainly a throwback. You have some very good competition these days.
I think the heavyweight division is getting interesting. The problem is that there's no real superstar in the heavyweight division, but it's getting interesting. It's heating up. There's a lot of guys out there that people starting to talk about.
Let's start at the top, Evander Holyfield.
Okay, I think Evander Holyfield's a heck of a champion.
And, of course, Riddick Big Daddy Bowe, the silver medalist at the 88 Games, right underneath him, looking for that shot.
Dennis, so far so good with Riddick Bowe. I think the knock on Riddick Bowe is just that he hasn't fought the tough guys yet.
True. How about Razor Ruddock, still looking for a jab?
Yeah, that's true. If Razor Ruddock would revert a little bit to the Razor Ruddock that beat Mike Weaver, if he would use that jab and that great boxing ability he's got, and get away from the, I'm looking to take out with one punch type of a mentality, I think he would be a lot better fighter. Certainly, he probably has more skills than anybody in the heavyweight division. Let's see if he can, bring him to the top.
He added Floyd Patterson to his entourage. So.
Well, I think that may do a lot. I think Floyd's a great trainer. Floyd certainly is going to teach him a lot.
Michael Moore coming off a war with Bert Cooper.
Michael Moore, one of my favorite fighters. I mean, you know why? Because when you plunk down your $10 or $25 to see a fight, and you pay to see Michael Moore, you're going to see a fight. There's no shucking and jiving. The man comes to fight. He's exciting every time he steps in that ring. He puts on dynamite fights, as we all saw against Bert Cooper and every other Michael Moore fight.
Big George Foreman, still in the hunt.
George Foreman, always exciting because of the fact that he's so big and he punches so hard. I mean, boy, for sheer physical size, nobody can hurt you like George Foreman. Always dangerous. Even though Alex Stewart waited him out, got through Foreman's best punches and then beat Foreman up in the late rounds, I think George Foreman still has to be reckoned with in the heavyweight division because of the fact that he can punch so hard.
Tony Tucker back in action after a long layoff. Had several wins in a row.
I saw Tony Tucker in the Meadowlands Arena. I don't know. I think it's going to be a long, hard road back. Personally, I don't think he's going to make it. I think that there's no way that he can beat Razor Ruddock.
Ray Mercer, off the crown.
I'm not sure. I was disappointed, in the Larry Holmes fight, to be perfectly frank. I think that Ray Mercer will get a shot at Michael Moore's WBO heavyweight title. I would like to see him take the fight. He's backed out of about 3 fights in a row, as you well know. I think that Ray Mercer will not beat Michael Moore.
And finally, young Tommy Morrison.
Now, there's a kid that might be better than most people think. Very, very strong. a guy that, is a big kid and he might be a good fighter. Let's throw out a name that nobody's heard of, just for the heck of it, if we could for a moment. There's a kid over in England you might want to look at, Herbie Hyde. This is a kid that's on the way up, and the people that have seen him over in Great Britain say he's a good prospect. The only knock on Herbie Hyde is that he's a small heavyweight, but might be a fighter in the heavyweight division to be reckoned with.
I can't let out Lennox Lewis, of course.
Lennox Lewis may be the best fighter in the heavyweight division today. A lot of people think he has real talent. He didn't look great on HBO in his last show, but the truth of the matter is he did look good against Derek Williams in his last fight, and he might be, a future heavyweight champion. Don't overlook him.
And all you're watching the fights pound for pound, who do you think is the best fighter out there today? Put you on the spot, so to speak, Harold.
Right now, Julio Cesar Chavez, but Terry Norris is certainly on the way up. I'd love to see those two guys collide.
Julian Jackson making a lot of waves with his knockouts.
Yes, but hey, I'm not a great Julian Jackson fan until he steps in the ring with somebody. I really think that they're wasting the guy's career in letting him fight the Ismail Negrones, and the Dennis Miltons. He's got to go up against Mike McCallum. He's got to fight James Toney. He's got to fight the guys that really count in the middleweight division. There's a lot of good middleweights out there, and I'd like to see them take the politics out of it and let Julian Jackson fight.
And finally, a vote for comeback fighter of the year, Iran the Blade Barkley.
Certainly has to be the comeback fighter of the year.
Two world titles in 3 months.
God, Dennis, who'd have thunk it?
And against Tommy Hearns that last fight.
Really?
Had him on the floor.
Really, I never thought that Tommy Hearns was going to lose the fight. Iran sure surprised me. Fantastic.
Harold, always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Dennis, always a pleasure to be here.
Look forward to seeing you on HBO again, and keep those scores going.
We'll try.
Harold Lederman. We'll be back with more Inside the Ring in just a moment.